Hello ladies and gentlemen, WillE here. Recently, most likely against my better judgment, I've been playing quite a bit of Runescape 3. In fact, I was trying to get more to grips with it. I wanted to do a video on the subject, how it's looking moving into 2022, and whether it's at a stage where it'd be worth investing a bit more of your time into. And I started playing it again around Christmas time. Of course, in Runescape, that means that there is some kind of event on. There always is around Christmas. That's just part of the game, in both versions of it. And for 2021, Jagex decided to go crazy and bring out some brand new rare items for players to get their hands on. There were two in total, one of which I quite like the way it was obtained, the other not so much. These are the golden party hat and the green Santa hat. One of them encourages just playing the game, trying out a wide range of activities. The other, however, encourages getting the credit card out and throwing money at an RNG slot machine. And I've no doubt this kind of event will become a regular occurrence, seeing the spike in players the game saw over the holiday period and during the new year, with Runescape 3 peaking over 50,000 players, many of which were rushing at a chance to land a rare before the event closed. It's a classic case of fear of missing out behind a microtransaction screen behind a slot machine. If there is one criticism you will hear in the full Runescape 3 video, it will be the shameless, predatory nature of their in-game monetization and the ways it exploits human nature to try and get you to part with your cash, but there'll be more on that then. Plenty of games, though, have limited availability items too, promotional codes, for example, in WoW that are often region-locked, trading card loot. There are even still some spectral tiger codes floating about on the internet if you have nearly $7,000, which you aren't quite sure what you want to do with. But enough about that, because I wanted to talk a little more about rares in RuneScape, as they are a pretty incredible market. A world of virtual multi-billionaires trading completely useless status symbols purely for the thrill of collection and completionism. And within the market there are rare items and then there are rare items, many of which have gone so far over the maximum cash value of what can be traded that players have had to resort to their own methods of trading through items or static value currencies other than gold in their place. Sure, you have your entry-level rare items nowadays, your Easter eggs or pumpkins, both beneath 2 billion gold, not even max cash, imagine. And then we have the big boy items, the visible ones that you can see on your characters, your Halloween mask, your party hats, and they're worth, well, we'll get onto that in a moment. The first rare to appear in RuneScape was somewhat unintended. It was just a small change to one item: wine. Yep, wine. On the 4th of January 2001, a change was made so you down an entire jug of wine in one go instead of in 2 sips, making the half-full jug of wine the first ever item available in RuneScape to be discontinued. The second item was also something of a strange one to appear, the Disc of Returning. Early RuneScape Classic had an area called the Black Hole, where rule breakers were sent to languish in purgatory. However, as rumours spread of this mysterious realm, players began to actually try and be sent there through false reports, so co-founder Andrew Gower released this disc for 10 GP, so players could enter a mock version and get their own fully fledged black hole experience, which isn't something I expected to be saying. The disc and the black hole were eventually removed, leading to this 10 GP item becoming discontinued. It now values somewhere around 5.7 to 6 billion gold. Halloween of the same year saw the pumpkin release, but it was Christmas 2001 with a big rare items dropped, the rares to end all rares, the party hats, and the crackers that they came from. These were dropped en masse, thousands upon thousands, as they rained down from the skies and players snapped them up. Little did they know that over 2 decades later you potentially have something sitting on a character you no longer remember how to access that's worth more than just a fair bit of gold. For reasons unknown, metas developed as to what the most expensive items would be. The blue party hat was the most coveted, whilst the red Halloween mask had always fetched the highest price. And then there was the Christmas crackers themselves. If party hats were worth a lot, imagine the player that never opened the crackers in the first place. Using some marketplace estimates that RuneScape players run, we're going to try and appreciate the value that people place in these pixelated paper hats. After all, their value is way over what can be actually traded. Your entry-level green, yellow and purple party hats will set you back around 40 to 50 billion, over 20 times the gold cap in the game. A red party hat being in the region of 60 to 70 billion, white party hat just north of 100 billion, and a blue party hat fetching a rather healthy 150 billion, which is quite a big number, about 70 times the gold cap in the game. The Christmas crackers are somewhat a similar amount, but of course you can't see them on your character, so who really cares? So how much is 150 billion actually in numbers we can understand? Well, let's just say it makes a spectral tiger look pretty cheap. Now, if we were to try and earn this money being good boys and playing the game and earning our gold, which definitely happens, we can try and work out the price in bonds. These are RuneScape's equivalent of World of Warcraft's tokens. Now, because Jagex decided to make quote-unquote rare items available during the latest holiday, bonds have shot up in in-game price, costing around 45 million, or in real terms, $7. You get 14 days of membership per bond, so that means each 1 million gold in RuneScape is worth about 16 cents. And 1 million goes into 150 billion, 150,000 times, so 0.16 times 150k, $24,000 is your price for your blue party hat in bond money, that is. And you can buy 150 bonds every 4 hours if you really wanted to. It's doable, but it'll take you a while though. Or there are, you know, other sites where of course it's going to be massively cheaper than legitimate money. See here, a mere $10,000 for a 2-decade-old pixelated paper hat. Bargain, really. So what I'm saying is people place a lot of value into rare items, like an enormous amount, and they're essentially guaranteed to go up because the quantity will never increase. It's a safe investment, surely. In fact, I was near to getting a red Halloween mask back in the early 2000s. Having had spent many an hour in the mining guild, I'd managed to cobble together 700,000, a huge amount of cash. And I remember being on the trade screen for the red Halloween mask. The person on the other side had hit accept, but I was too nervous because I don't want to get scammed. Eventually they cancelled and I never bought it. Oh well, it's only worth 3.5 billion now, not much. And on old school RuneScape, they've dropped rares from the very start of when it existed and have made it clear that they will not be rares as you know them. They drop massive amounts each year. A blue party hat over there is just worth a few thousand gold, and they're kept around as a bit of fun, not a multi-billion gold investment. Is probably a better decision for the game overall. So here we have people placing a lot of value in things which don't have any value at all. It's like NFTs, but 2 decades earlier. So when Jagex took the step of putting 2 new rares into RuneScape 3 this Christmas, people have been rabid to buy. With a golden party hat, the way they introduced it was fine enough. You just log in, you do pretty much anything the game has to offer, and then you have a chance to receive a party hat shard. There are 10 sources of them in total, you collect 8 of them, and you make your party hat, feel good about yourself, throw it on the auction house, get an easy 500 mil or so. At least that's what I did. Nice. But the green Santa hat, this is where things go downhill a bit. You see, rare items have always had some degree of RNG tied to them, and nowadays we expect them to be rare. We know that they are rare. Part of what makes a blue party hat worth an eye-watering 150 billion is because nobody had a clue that it was going to be a one-time thing. Nobody thought, gee, I should probably hold on to this for 20 years. It might be worth something. But the amount of RNG involved in receiving a green Santa hat and the degree to which getting the wallet out could alleviate those concerns is nothing short of enormous. In order to have a chance to get one, you had to turn in Christmas wrapping paper to get presents during the event. And the chance to receive a green Santa hat was 1 in 20,000. Now, you earned wrapping paper doing anything in the game every so often, but it was much faster to earn through getting the wallet out. For the first time, an extremely rare item, which was always going to be considered a rare item that people have shown to place a tremendous amount of value into, was going to be massively easier to obtain through real-life money than time spent in game. All of this, of course, behind a fear of missing out microtransaction gambling system. If you ever wanted a nice picture of how MTX can overstep boundaries, RuneScape 3 is a great place for that example. This goes for cosmetics too, as I'll be talking about in the full video. It's turned something that was a bit of fun in 2001 that has remained a bit of fun since then into something which can be directly monetized and incentivized. With them already confirming it's not discontinued, you can bet that a seasonal variation of this should be expected as the game goes on. But hey, at least RuneScape 3 shoulders the microtransactions so old school can remain free of them, right? I think it's interesting to look at nevertheless and see how so much value can be placed in exclusivity in a virtual world, because especially nowadays, this ridiculous side of gaming seems to be spilling over into reality, and it's all a little bit strange. That's about all though. So now is the time when you load up RuneScape and you try and password recover that character that you had when you were 13 and see if you have a late Christmas present in the bank. Who knows, you just might. Let me know if you've had an experience with rare items on RuneScape or other things. There are a side of the internet which isn't often talked about too much, but then again, I suppose not that many people are trying to throw that much money at something which really isn't worth anything. As always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I shall see you on the next one very soon.